All right, hello everybody. So right now, of course, we're gonna wait a few minutes, give people a chance to get in here. I hope everybody's been having a good week. Had a lot of interesting stuff happening this week. That I reported last night, of course. Vic Mignogna and Anime Matsuri have started up their own dubbing company, and of course, you can just see the salt going away. The usual suspects trying to derail it. Um, and I gave a lot of commentary on it last night. So, anyways, walking through a town in a faceless crowd, need to feel the touch of a friend. In the countryside, I wander far and wide. Isolation gets me again. I don't know where to go when I feel like crying. Oh my. It's time to open myself, do something new. I want to stop and grow up a bit. Then suddenly my intuition and my wisdom grow. And then I know that most of all, send compassionately to strangers wherever you go. Thank you for waking me up. Let's see what else. Uh, Get along, gang, get along, gang. Each one is special in their own way. Coming about the get along gang, get along gang. Get up with the get along gang. When you know it's okay. Get up with the get along gang. Hey, oh, get up. Do, 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 do. Pole position. Hey, you know they're watching you. Pole position. Everyone knows they're watching you. Hello, 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 hello. Do 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 do. Teen Wolf coming out to play. Teen Wolf coming out to play. Teen Wolf coming out to play. Teen Wolf out to play. Doug and Emmy Joe. Every day the different show. It's a new zoo review. Come right at you. It's a new zoo review. Come right at you. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Punky Brewster, you know they're always here with me. Oh no, Punky Brewster, you know that you're here with me. I know. Let's see now. What Scooby Dooby Doo, looking. Oh, hello. What's your favorite disgusting stinky cheese? I don't have a favorite disgusting stinky cheese. Um, if you can help things out by liking and sharing, seeing if we can get some more friendly people in here. That'd be appreciated. Let's see. How's your week going, Code 066 Gaming? Hopefully things are going well for you. Hopefully you're having a good week. Um, just waiting around for some more people to show up. Um, Hunkering for a piece of cheese. Yahoo! 369 12 15 18 21 24 27 30 369 12 15 18 21 24 27 30 Yeah, there's 3 in the family. And there's 3 in the family. Mama and Daddy had a little baby. Yes, they did. A magic number. Yes, they did. It's a family. Mama and Daddy had a little baby. Yes, they did. It's a magic number. Yes, they did. It's a family. Mama and Daddy had a little baby. Yes, they did. It's magic number. Yes, they did. It's a family. Figure 4, half of 8. Figure 8. And a double 4. It's a circle that goes round upon itself. Busy prepositions flying on the wall. Till your mind reflected, you were conformed. Conjunction, junction, what's your function? Hooking up words and phrases and clauses. Conjunction, junction, what's your function? Hooking up words and phrases and clauses. Over and over, really get you down. Interplanet Janet is a galaxy girl, and every time you know, she goes around the world. Every time you know, tragedy, and everyone is a tragedy. And the interplanet Janet is a galaxy. Let's see. Brave star, brave star, brave star, brave star. Eyes of the hawk, ears of the wolf. Brave star, brave star, brave star, brave star. Strength of the bear, speed of the puma. Brave star. It's G.I. Joe against Cobra the enemy, fighting to save the day. He never gives up, he's always there, fighting for freedom over land and air. G.I. Joe, real American hero. G.I. Joe is there. It's a battle you end. And the road you choose. We got the right stuff. And make your mind up. And turn inside of you. To be strong, you'll survive and keep your dreams alive. The battle frontier. Pokemon, be the best you can be and find your destiny. It's a master plan. The power's in your hands. Pokemon. All right, well, coming up on 9 minutes here, so it's a good time to start getting things rolling here. So tonight, I'd say we have 6 articles to go over, plus wrestling roundup. Udon Entertainment's got some release information we're going to be looking at. There's some news coming out of San Diego Comic Con on some stuff, as well as some of Marvel's solicits for October. And as I said in the wrestling roundup, we got quite a bit of stuff to talk about. So let's see now. We're now at 9:43 already. So let's see. Once we hit the 10-minute mark, I think we will go ahead and get going here. All right. So we're at the 10-minute mark. So we'll go ahead and get going here. Let's see now. All right, so here's the first story, the lone anime story we're going to probably cover tonight here. So let's take a look at this now. Udon Entertainment to publish first official Macross art book available outside of Japan. Article by Spencer Baculi, published earlier today from the anime book section. Okay, so here we go. In the current series, rights holders' latest showing of love to international fans of the iconic Mecha series, Big West Company Limited is teaming with Udon Entertainment to publish the very first officially licensed Macross art book available outside of Japan. So, from what I understand, the art book is basically just a book composed of like drawings and artwork from the series. The first in a series of planned art books collecting longtime series mechanical designer Hidetaka Tanijin's various Macross related work. Hidetaka Tanijin's artistry of Macross from Flashback 2012 to Macross Frontier will kick things off by gathering the artist quote illustrations from the eras of Super Dimension Fortress Macross Flashback 2012, Super Dimension Fortress Macross 2, Macross Plus, Macross 7, Macross Zero, and Macross Frontier TV series. Unquote. Quote, I've been involved with Macross in a professional capacity for over 2 decades now, but I originally started off as a fan myself. So the prospect of bringing my art to a new international audience is something I'm extremely excited about, unquote, Tanijin said regarding the art book's publication. Quote, Hidetaka Tanijin's artistry of Macross not only marks my first published work outside of Japan, it's also the first art book to be released in North America bearing the Macross name, unquote, he noted. Quote, while I'm more than a little nervous at the prospect, I hope that people enjoy it and that it helps to introduce them to the world of Macross, unquote. Interesting. See if we got anybody here yet. Let's see. Nope. And there's anyone. Somebody came in and, well, thank you for the like and the share. Alrighty then, continuing on with the article here. So, Big West Company Limited CEO Kaya Onishi added, quote, it's been 40 years since Super Dimension Fortress Macross first hit the airwaves, and today many of those who grew up watching it are involved with the franchise, unquote. Quote, Hidetaka Tanijin was one of the earliest fans to follow this path, unquote, she explained. Quote, he's been involved in aspects ranging from the creation of anime, key visuals, to box art for Macross products, and in the case of the most recent entry in the franchise, Macross Delta, even oversaw the color designs of the various Valkyries, unquote. She then offered fans an optimistic outlook towards the future, asserting, quote, as the first official Macross publication to be released outside of Japan, I am certain that Hidetaka Tanijin's artistry of Macross will similarly inspire a new generation of Macross creators, unquote. Offering himself as an example of one such artist alluded to by Onishi, Udon Entertainment chief Eric Koh recalled, quote, Macross was a very big influence on me growing up. The transforming mechs, the engaging story, the beloved characters, and especially the songs are all so unique and inspiring. Unquote. Now, for those of us here in the States, Macross not only was adapted directly as an anime, in 2000s under their real names, but there was an earlier adaptation back in the 80s when it first came out, somewhat edited, of course. We would some of us who may have watched it back in the 80s might remember it as Robotech, as some of the earlier works of Macross were adapted into what we knew as Robotech. So, anyways, moving on with the article here. Quote, being able to work with Big West, Denijin Sensei, is a dream come true, unquote, he further exclaimed. Quote, I am deeply honored to be the first overseas publishing license. Looking forward to working with Tunisian and Big West on more projects to come, unquote. Though a variety of complicated rights issues kept the original Robotech source material from making its way overseas in any sort of comprehensive form, on April 9th, 2022, Big West Company Limited and Harmony Gold released a joint statement announcing that they had reached a, quote, landmark agreement immediately that permits worldwide distribution of most of the Macross films and television sequels worldwide, and also confirms that Big West will not oppose the Japanese release of an anticipated upcoming live-action Robotech film, unquote. So they finally got the rights issues all squared away there. Quote, the agreement also recognizes Harmony Gold's long-standing exclusive license with Tatsunoko for the use of the 41 Macross characters and mecha in the Robotech television series and related merchandise throughout the world, excluding Japan. Unquote. The company stated, quote, moving forward, both parties will cooperate on distribution regarding future Macross and Robotech projects for the benefit of both franchises. Unquote. That's good to hear. I'm sure a lot of fans will be happy to hear that, right? Set to see a wide release on October 18th and currently up for pre-order on Amazon. Celebration of Tunisian's upcoming appearance at the convention as a featured guest. Copies from a limited preview run will be available at Udon's booth at this year's San Diego Comic-Con. Alrighty then, so there we go with that. Let's see. I'm still the only one here. Okay. Let's see now. Alright, so here we go. SDCC, Marvel Spider-Man swings into the Comic-Con Museum Hall of Fame. So that's the first article of the comics portion of our news coverage we're going to be looking at here. So we'll go ahead and go through this. Marvel Spider-Man is inducted into the Comic-Con Museum Character Hall of Fame as San Diego Comic-Con kicks off. Article by John Arvidon, published 22 hours ago. So so that was yesterday. We did that. Okay, so let's see now. So Comic-Con International's preview night took place July 20th in San Diego. To kick off the celebration, Marvel's resident web-slinger, Spider-Man, was inducted into the Comic-Con Museum Character Hall of Fame. CBR had boots on the ground for the induction ceremony, which included an opportunity to experience Marvel's Spider-Man Beyond Amazing, the exhibition, and catch a look at various costumes, artwork, and other interactive experiences. See the highlights below and be sure to follow along with CBR throughout San Diego Comic-Con for even more exciting coverage. Here, we got some scenes of Doc Ock, Electro, Green Goblin. Oh wow, that was a pretty quick article right there. Wow, it was more visuals than actual text. Wow. Yeah, I thought there would have been a little more to this, but oh well. As we prepare to. Right, so moving on to the next article we're going to cover here then. That Spider-Man article was pretty quick. But it may be a blessing in disguise because one of the articles we're going to cover are Marvel solicits, and sometimes the solicits can be sometimes the solicits can be pretty lengthy articles in of themselves. Here we go. Let's see now. Christopher Reeve's Man of Steel is returning to comics in DC's Superman 78 sequel. DC Stealth announces a follow-up to its comic book limited series Superman 78, which continues the story of the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. Article by Noah Dominguez, published 19 hours ago. So there you got the artwork for Christopher Reeve's version of Superman. So, DC's Superman 78 is returning for a second volume, meaning the comic book adventures of Christopher Reeve's Man of Steel aren't over just yet. The first volume of Superman 78 was recently released in hardcover format. Series writer Robert Venditti's bio reveals that he is currently penning a second volume. Quote, how many readers caught this stealth announcement in the bio section of the Superman 78 hardcover, unquote, Venditti wrote on Twitter, sharing a photo of the text in question. Uh, Written by Venditti, illustrated by Wilfredo Torres, colored by Jordi Belair, and lettered by Dave Lamphere. Superman 78 follows the continuity of director Richard Donner's Superman films, which starred the aforementioned Reeve as the last son of Krypton. Donner's Superman the movie, originally released in theaters in 1978, sequel Superman 2, released in Australia in 1980 before making its way to the United States in 1981. Donner shot approximately 75% of Superman 2 before he was controversially fired as director and replaced with Richard Lester. Lester was the sole director credited in the film's theatrical cut. However, Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut, eventually saw the light of day in 2006. In the interim, Lester returned to helm Superman 3, which hit theaters in 1983. Reeves' last outing as the Man of Steel came in director Sidney J. Theory's Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, which released in 1987. The Donnerverse lives! Set after the events of Superman 2, Superman 78 finally introduced the DC villain known as Brainiac to the Donnerverse, quote unquote. Interestingly, Donner himself intended for Brainiac to appear in Superman 3 had he continued to work on the franchise. Comic book series ran for 6 issues from August 2021 to January 2022, before being collected as a hardcover this month. Superman 78 is conceptually similar to DC's Batman 89, itself a 6-part comic book limited series. Batman 89 acts as a direct alternate follow-up to director Tim Burton's Batman 1989 and Batman Returns 1992, ignoring the events of Joel Schumacher's Batman Forever 1995 and Batman and Robin 1997, written by Sam Hamm, illustrated by Joe Quinones, colored by Leonardo Ito, and lettered by Clayton Cowles. Batman 89 ran from August 2021 to July 2022. So it just basically just concluded this month. Interesting. A hardcover edition is slated for release next month on August 30th. Written by Robert Venditti, illustrated by Wilfredo Torres, colored by Jordi Belair, and lettered by Dave Lamphere. The Superman 78 hardcover is on sale now from DC. All right, so there we go. That one kind of went quick too. All right, so there we go with that one. So now we're getting ready to move on. All right, so before we get into this one, I do need to step away from the computer for a moment. Right back, but before I go, I'll turn on some music. All right, I'm back. Anyway, so getting to this now. Um, before I get started here. Oh, I didn't know. Hmm. Oh, hey, Woody. Hey, Woody. I'm glad you're here. We're getting ready to start off. Well, if you can like and share the stream, that would help, bro. Oh, well. Um, anyways, we're about to get into another article here. This one on the passing of comics legend Alan Grant. So here we go. Alan Grant, legendary Batman, Lobo, Judge Dredd writer, has died. Alan Grant, the influential comic writer famed for his work on Batman, Judge Dredd, and Lobo, has passed away. Article by Kevin Melrose, published 13 hours ago. Yes, those are the characters they're talking about there. And there's, I guess, Alan Grant at the far right there. Alan Grant, the influential writer, famed for his lengthy runs on Batman, Detective Comics, and Judge Dredd, has passed away at age 73. His death was announced July 21st on Facebook by his wife Susan, and then quickly spread on social media. Although no cause of death was given, Grant reportedly had been ill, quote, for some time, unquote. Quote, he was a towering presence in comics and a force of nature in life, unquote, artist and writer Liam Sharp wrote on Twitter. Quote, changes in circumstances meant I have not seen him for far too long, and I had been meaning to put that right, unquote. Well, that's usually what happens. Sometimes you just you think about it, you want to do it, and end up not being able to do it. Um, Grant, whom the Scottish Book Trust called, quote, a leading star of Scottish comics and a great ambassador for them, unquote, began his career as editor in the late 1960s, working first for Scottish publisher D.C. Thomson and then for London-based IPC magazines from 1978 to 1980. He served as editor of 2000 AD and wrote uh, Tharg's Future Shock, Judge Dredd, Storm Dog, Robo Hunter, and Blackhawk. Grant also introduced his own comic book alter ego, um, all in one, and the robotic assistant to Tharg the Mighty. Here's Gary Erskine's tweet on it. Alan Grant has passed. A sad loss for comics fans and professionals alike. Pick a favorite book or discover a story for the first time and enjoy his work. If anybody say anything right now, I figured that was the moment of silence. Huh. I know we probably should do a moment of silence for him, but maybe after the article here. Grant was part of. I was really just trying to see if I can get people to come on, but at one point there. Grant was part of the so-called British invasion of American comics in the 1980s that brought with it such creators as Alan Moore, Neil Gaiman, Garth Ennis, Dave Gibbons, and Grant Morrison. He made his DC Comics debut in 1987 with the dystopian miniseries Outcast, which, despite being unsuccessful, led to his famed run on Detective Comics, which kicked off the following year. Late 80s, of course, was also around the time that we would start to do the post-crisis work. Post-crisis church. With artist Norm Breyfogle, his frequent Batman collaborator, Grant created such notable rogues as Anarchy and the Ventriloquist with co-writer John Wagner. Grant's lengthy tour of Gotham City also included a 24-issue run on Batman, a series of Batman Judge Dredd crossovers, and a staggering 82 issues of Batman Shadow of the Bat, in which he and Breyfogle introduced villains Victor Zsasz, Amygdala, and Jeremiah Arkham. He also re-teamed with Breyfogle in the late 1990s for a pair of Anarchy miniseries. At DC, Grant became associated by the fan favorite anti-hero Lobo, created in 1983 by Keith Giffen and Roger Slifer. Um, Grant featured Intergalactic Bounty Hunter in Legion, a Legion of Superheroes spinoff, and collaborated with Giffen and artist Simon Bisley on Lobo's first miniseries. That was followed by multiple miniseries and specials, 54 issues in all of which were written or co-written by him. So there you go. While most closely associated with DC Comics in 2000 AD, Grant produced work for Marvel's Epic Comics imprint, Boom Studios, and a handful of others. He also created uh, The Bogeyman with Wagner and artist Robin Smith. Okay, so as Woody mentioned earlier, we'll actually go ahead and do a moment of silence for Mr. Grant here. We pass the course. Here at the Mikestand, we of course pass along our thoughts, prayers, and condolences to his family, that they may find comfort in this time of his passing as they grieve. You know, but with that, let's go ahead and do this moment. All right. All right. So with that being said, now let's get ready to move on to the next article here. And Woody with the thumbs up. Thank you, Woody. uh, All right, so getting ready to move on to the next part. Let's see where are we at on time here. Now we're up to 47 minutes, coming up on 48 minutes. All right, so getting ready to move on to the next article here. Oh, here we go. Here's the next article. We're going to do another article surrounding San Diego Comic Con. SDCC exclusive San Diego Comic Con exclusive Richard Corbin's Murphy World Den get new reprint from Dark Horse. I guess they're going to do some reprint work for these titles here, is what they're saying. CBR can exclusively reveal Dark Horse Comics will release new editions of Richard Corbin's Murphy World and Den in hardcover deluxe format in 2023. Article by Brandon Schwer, published 10 hours ago. CBR can exclusively reveal Dark Horse Comics will reprint Richard Corbin's Murphy World and Den in deluxe hardcover edition. Dark Horse announced a new, quote, exclusive line reprinting Corbin's material. The new editions come in deluxe hardcover format and include introductions by other legendary creators and never before seen content. Quote, I'm so pleased and proud to share Corbin's art and stories with the world, unquote, said Donna Corbin, Richard's widow. Um, quote, it means so much to me to make his early work available in print again, and I'm excited to share his new story, and that he poured all of his imagination and artistic vision into. I'm incredibly proud of him as an artist and a person, and touched that his work means so much to so many. Unquote. I'm guessing there's a couple images right here. Murky World and Den. Okay, the Murky World hardcover will be available at comic book stores on April 26, 2023, and in bookstores on May 9th, 2023. Currently available for pre-order at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and comic shop for $39.99. Book collects all of Murky World together for the first time. Quote, in Murky World, Tuget, the warrior, wakes from a strange dream to find himself in a bizarre land populated by hungry deadlings. Okay. Cruel necromancers, buxom cyborgs, evil cults, and more as he sets off on a dangerous journey with his beloved horse, Frix. This special edition also includes an introduction by Hellboy creator Mike Mignola. Corbin's Dark Horse presents one shot and never before seen bonus material, unquote, Dark Horse said of the book. Right. Den, Neverwhere, comes just in time for the title 50 50 years, huh? I meant that it would have been Den came out back in 1972. Wow. The book will be available in comic book shops on July 26, 2023, so about a year away here, and in bookstores on August 8, 2023. Quote, thrust into a bizarre fantasy world called Neverwhere, the muscular adventurer Den goes on an exotic adventure through ancient ruins, meeting an evil queen, her sacrificial doppelganger, bizarre lizard men, giant insects, and more strange and dangerous madness in this legendary saga, brimming with horror, magic, and violence. Dark Horse said, the Dark Horse said, Jose Villarrubia will restore the art and write the forward for Den Neverwhere, while Nate Picos of Glambot will do the relettering. The book will also include an introduction by actor and comedian Patton Oswalt. Quote, growing up, Richard Corbin was my idol, and years later, I was fortunate to be his collaborator and eventually consider him a friend, unquote, Villarrubia said. Quote, he was the most innovative comic creator of the 20th century, distinguished by his virtuosity in using mixed media. His color was without paragon and continues to surprise me. Studying his work has been a lifelong passion. Wow. So there we go with that one. To go with that one. And just make some lighting adjustments here real quick. I'll be stepping away from the 0 1 side, of course. Step up, set up the next. All right. So this is going to probably be um, our last article we'll read here. I'm going to need to step away from the computer for a moment. I'll be right back. I'll put some music on for you. Alrighty then. Let's continue on with the article here as now we're going to be looking at the solicits here for Marvel. Miracle Man finally debuted. The Spider Verse ends, and Thanos' sexy brother returns in Marvel's October solicit. The massive Avengers X-Men Eternals war comes to a close just as Miracle Man arrives. And that's just the start of Marvel's October 2022 release. An article by Stephen Girding with the Towers. It's the first day of San Diego Comic Con, and Marvel is celebrating the return of the in person event by releasing its full solicitations for comics and trade paperbacks set to release in October 2022. The biggest news is that Neil Gaiman and Mark Buckingham reunite to finish their Miracle Man Silver Age arc, decades after it abruptly ended in mid story. But before the pair returns to the long awaited tale, Mike Carey, Ty Templeton, Peach Momoko, and other talent will spin their own take on the iconic superhero. I believe they did a little misspelling there. Superhero in a special one shot. All right. Meanwhile, Marvel's Judgment Day crossover pitting the Avengers against the X-Men, against the Eternals. All right, comes again another typo here. Comes. I think it's supposed to be comes to a conclusion, but not before half a dozen one-shot spin out of the massive event, which has the Eternals vying to exterminate mutants from the planet Earth. Spider-Man remains busy as well, with Dan Slott and Mark Bagley joining forces on a new series which promises to end the Spider-Verse itself. Moreland, who nearly murdered Peter Parker years ago, returns and he's determined to finish the job he started. Read the full solicitations below and then discuss them here on CBR's Marvel Comics Forum, Spider-Man Forum, Star Wars Forum, or Xbox Forum. So, you know. Miracle Man #0. Writers Neil Gaiman, Jason Aaron, Mike Carey, Ty Templeton, Pete Momoko, and more. Art by Mark Buckingham, Daniel Francis Yu, Ty Templeton, Pete Momoko, and more. Cover art by Alan Davis. Um, 40 years ago, Miracle Man's modern era began and changed the world of comics as we know it. Now, on the cusp of a new era of Miracle Man, we celebrate all things. Mota with a who's who of the best talent in the industry, plus Neil Gaiman and Mark Buckingham set up this issue and their return to Miracle Man Silver Age. Its pages, one shot, mature, nice. Miracle Man by Gaiman and Buckingham, the Silver Age #1. Neil Gaiman, writer, Mark Buckingham, art and cover. Variant cover by Chris Brown. Okay, that didn't enjoy it. Okay. The Silver Age begins again. After 30 years, Neil Gaiman and Mark Buckingham's unfinished storyline, quote, Silver Age, unquote, begins again. Um, let's see. These legendary creators are remastering the two published issues and brand new artwork and finishing their grand story at long last. Young Miracle Man, the lost member of the Miracle Man family, is back. His last memories were of a 1963 world of joy and innocence. Now he's been thrust into the 21st century, where his best friends have become gods and monsters. 48 pages, mature, $4.99. There's 5 images here. Uh, let's see. Spider-Man #1, Dan Slott writer, Mark Bagley art and cover. Um, quote, the end of the Spider-Verse, unquote, is here. Morlun is back, and he is not alone. Allied with one of the most powerful beings known to the Spider-Verse, the scariest spider villain of all time, is making his biggest play, and no spider is safe, especially not the chosen spider himself, Peter Parker. With Peter working for Norman Osborn and using a glider, does he have it coming? Spidey's 60th anniversary is no joke, as two of the most legendary spider creators are working together on Spidey for the first time, and you know it's going to be one for the record books. 48 pages, rated T plus, $4.99. Pages here. Judgment Day, I guess. See, I guess AXE, Avengers, X-Men, Eternals, Judgment Day, #6 of 6. Kieran Gillen, writer, Valerio Shiti, art, cover by Mark Brooks. So, apocalyptic finale of the events of the year. It's not. It's not that nothing will be the same again. It's that unless heroes can find a new way to be heroes, everything will be nothing forever. 40 pages, 82 plus, 5 AXE X-Men #1. Kieran Gillen, writer, Francesco Mobili, art, sign on the cover. Uh, Second story critical AXP one shot. It wasn't her. 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 Yet, quote, I am fire and life incarnate, now and forever. Unquote. Which part of, quote, now and forever is confusing to you? As one world burns, can Jean justify her existence after burning another? I guess Jean as the Phoenix there. Uh, 32 pages, one shot, rated C plus, 399. KFC Eternals #1. Kieran Gillen, writer, Pasquale Perry, art, cover by Nick Klein. Third and final story, critical AXE one shot. Hey Jack has come a long way. She met her maker. Hell, she made her maker. Okay. Now, can she or anyone survive her maker? 32 pages, one shot, rated C plus, 1. AXE Iron Fist #1. With the long writer, Michael Yeague, art, cover by Philip Kent. Iron Fist faces his greatest challenge in AXE tie-in. Um, After the clash between Lin Li and his brother Lin Tang, Lin Li, the current Iron Fist, protector of the mystic city of Kunlun, um, must reclaim access to Kunlun. Not before he faces a trial unlike any other. Show Lao the Undying. Wait, what does Loki have to do with all of this? Find out when Iron Fist and Loki face Judgment. 40 pages, one shot, rated 2 plus, 4.99. AXE Star Fox #1. Kieran Gillen, writer. Danielle Di art. Cover by Danielle Di Nicuolo. And AXE tie-in. Eros the Eternal. Star Fox the Titan, the equal of his brother Thanos, matching his achievement every step of the what? Oh, you know what they say. Come the hour, come the intergalactic layabout, who'd rather have a drink? Rather have a drink. At least if this is Judgment Day, he won't be around for a hangover tomorrow. 32 pages, one shot, rated 2 plus, 89. Captain Marvel #42. Kelly Thompson, writer. Andrea Di Vito, art. Cover by Juan Frigeri. Uh, Judgment Day must come for us all in AFC tie-in. Though Carol has had more than enough of being judged lately, there is no escaping this Judgment Day as it determines whether Earth lives or dies. But as Carol and L'Oreal give their heroic best to prove their worth, an unexpected new player emerges. 50 pages, 32, 299. Fantastic Four #48. David Poe's writer. Juan Cabal art cover by Kaku. Nick Italian. Trapped alone inside the Baxter building with no backup in sight, the invisible woman battles her way up 55 or 35 flights of death traps to stop the mad science of Oubliette Midas. But with the clock running out on the Celestial's judgment, can Sue save her husband Reed from becoming the latest cog in the Exterminatrix's interdimensional war machine? Can the Thing and the Human Torch free themselves from Oubliette's twisted schemes, or will the hijacked Baxter building prove to be the Fantastic Four's ultimate undoing? Its judgment times four, as the Fantastic Four don't plan to go down without a fight. 32 pages, rated C plus, 99. Hmm. Hmm. Right. Immoral X-Men number 7. Kieran Gillen writer, Lucas Burnett art, cover by Mark Brooks. A serious BAMF AXE tie-in. Um, Even if you're the heart of the X-Men, there's days you want to tear out people's hearts. Judgment Day is one of them. What extreme steps will Nightcrawler take in the name of the Spark? So two pages, rated two plus in 9. Legion of X number 6. By Courier writer Raphael Mental art uh, Dyke Ruan or DK Ruan color. Divine Judgment of the Attack on Mars um, and AXE tie-in. Judgment Day has arrived, and our very own Legion is on the chopping block. The Eternal Uranus, okay, um, launches a savage attack on Araco, but it's not only the planet Mars, it's a state. It's David Haller, the hero. Will he succumb to his madness, which is everyone, perhaps even the Celestials themselves predict? 32 pages, rated T plus, 399. X-Men Red number 7. Al Ewing writer. Madibek Musabekov art. Cover by Russell Dodderman. Final Judgment for the Red Planet, AXE tie-in. The dust settles and the costs are counted. Changes coming to Araco, starting at the top. After the catastrophic war with the Eternals, the Great Ring declares that Iska, the Unbeaten, is no longer fit for the seat of victory. But Iska's power is never to lose. If she won't step down, is there anyone on Araco that can make it? Ready to dated, ready to plus. Yeah. Remember, these are all comics that are coming out in October. What is he making zero press? AXE, Death to the Mutants, number 3 of 3. Karen Gillan did the writer. Guyu Villanova did the art, covered by Chad Redick. It looks like the end of the world is taking it personally. Machine, that is Earth, is having a very bad day. Oh boy. 32 pages, rated T plus, 3.99. Next book, number 33. Benjamin Percy, writer, Robert Gill, art, with the cover art being done by Joshua Sarah. A Hunt for X, Conclusion, and AXE tie-in. Raven the Hunter, Wolverine, Omega Red, Dinosaur. Enough said. 32 pages, parental advisory, 3.99. Moon Knight Annual, number 1. Jed McKay, writer, Federico Sabatini, art, cover by Rod Reed. Werewolf by Moonlight. In the Darkhold, there is a prophecy of how a god might die. Jack Russell, more familiar with the first home than most, would like very much to kill a god and save his people. The people bound in servitude to the moon, but to fulfill the prophecy requires the blood of the fist of Khonshu, and Moonlight doesn't bleed easily. So he hated one shot, 50 plus, 1 Let's see. Tomb of Dracula, number 1, a Kinley edition, written by Jerry Conway, penciled by Gene Conlon, cover by Neil Adams. Dracula rises as comic book giant Jerry Conway and Gene Colan begin an epic reinvention of the Lord of Vampires in the mighty Marvel manner. When Frank Drake, descendant of the fabled Count Dracula, inherits a certain Transylvanian castle, he journeys there with his girlfriend Jeannie and his jealous friend Clifton. Ignoring warnings from locals to turn away, they enter Castle Dracula and set in motion um, the nightmarish return of its one true owner. Not everybody will survive the night. Tomb of Dracula is revered as one of the finest horror comics of the 1970s, and it all began with this blood-curdling premiere issue. It's one of the all-time great Marvel comic books, boldly represented in its original form and all, reprinting Tomb of Dracula 1971, number 1, 32 pages, rated T, 3.99. Bloodstone and the Legion of Monsters trade paperback new printing, written by Dennis Hopeless, John Warner, Steve Gerber, and more. Penciled by Juan Doe, Mike Vosberg, Sal Buscema, Val Nayerick, Alan Kupperberg and more. Cover by the King. Monster hunting is in their blood, and they're the best dad and daughter in the business. With her father's mystical gem around her neck, Elsa Bloodstone carried on the family tradition of keeping Beastly behind. But what terrible evil could make her team up with natural enemies like Morbius, Werewolf by Night, and the Living Mummy? And can even their combined might take down a killer so vicious that even the monsters are scared to death? Plus, the complete 1970s adventures of Ulysses Bloodstone. He's been battling monsters for 10,000 years. But when he stumbles onto a worldwide conspiracy, the truth about Blood Gem be the death of him. Collecting Legion of Monsters 2022, numbers 1 through 4. Astonishing Tales, Boom Boom and Elsa, number 1. Marvel Presents, number 1 and 2. Material from Marvel Assistant Size Spectacular, number 2. Girl Comics, 2010. Number 2, Rampaging Hulk, number 1977, number 1 through 6. And 8. 304 pages, rated G+, $4.99. Trim size, 6.5, okay. Crypt of Shadows. Oh, wow, this is quite a list here. Written by Al Ewing, Danny Lore, Rebecca Roanhouse. Okay. Let me just see here. Already at an hour and a half. Okay, I'm gonna start blaring through these a little bit because this is getting kind of long here. And there's some other stuff that obviously I want to try to. All right, so we got Crypt of Shadows here. I'm just gonna go over the title. Moon Knight number 16. All these coming out in. Let's see. Midnight Suns number 2 of 5. These are the books. Look, Wakanda number 1 of 5. Namor Conquered Shores number 1 of 5. Ultraman, the Mystery of Ultra 7, number 3 of 5. Wild Cards, The Drawing of Cards, number 4 of 4. Amazing Spider-Man, number 11. Amazing Spider-Man, number 12. Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man, number 1 of 5. Thunderbolts, number 3 of 5. All Out Avengers, number 2. Terminators, number 2 of 5. Marauders, number 7. Gambit, number 4 of 5. And I guess a lot of these may be even AXE tie-ins or X-Men Legends number 3, X-Men number 16, New Mutants number 31, Wolverine number 26, Captain America Symbol of Liberty number 5, America Symbol of Truth number 6, Avengers number 61, Avengers Forever number 10, Daredevil number 4, Punisher War Journal Brother number 1, Strange number 7, Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings number 4, Iron Cat number 5 of 5, Black Panther number 10, She-Hulk number 7, Ghost Rider number 7. Jane Foster and the Mighty Thor number 5 of 5. Gina Bell, Captain Marvel number 4 of 5. Defenders Beyond number 4 of 5. Iron Man number 24. The Variants number 5 of 5. Damage Control number 3 of 5. Savage Avengers number 6. Carnage number 7. These are titles to look forward to in October, by the way. Venom number 12. Mech Strike, Monster Hunters number 5 of 5. Ant-Man number 4 of 4. New Fantastic Four number 5 of 5. Thor number 28. Alien number 2. Predator number 3. Star Wars number 28. Star Wars High Republic number 1. Star Wars Mandalorian number 4. Star Wars Darth Vader number 28. Star Wars Dr. Aphra number 25. Fantastic Four by Millar and Hitch. Omnibus hardcover. Hitch cover. Fantastic Four by Millar and Hitch. Omnibus hardcover. DM only. Silvestri cover. Let's see. Guardians of the Galaxy by Brian Michael Bendis. Omnibus. 21 hardcover. U cover. New printing. Let's see. Guardians of the Galaxy by Brian Michael Bendis. 21 Alex Ross cover. Printing DM only. Let's see. Here's the McNiven cover for the Guardians of the Galaxy by Brian Michael Bendis. Thunderbolts Omnibus. Grummet New Thunderbolts cover. Here's Civil War cover. Mark Spector, Moon Knight, Mark Spector Omnibus Volume 1 hardcover. Wow, look at all this. Look at all this stuff. Moon Knight, let's see, Potts cover, Weeks cover for Incredible Hulk by Peter David Omnibus. Let's see, here's the Cone cover, the John Buscema cover from Nova Richard Rider Omnibus. Here's the Pollard cover, DM only. Avengers by John Hickman Omnibus. The Riddick cover, new printing. Let's see, here's the Alex Ross cover, new printing, DM only. New printing, let's see, Hulk, Planet Hulk Omnibus. The Braun portrait cover, new printing. Let's see, here's the Braun Arena cover, new printing, DM only. Spider-Man vs. Venom Omnibus. The Farling cover, new printing. Bagley cover, new printing, DM only. Trials of X, Volume 2, trade paperback. Marvel Studios Eternals, The Art of the Movie hardcover. Marvel Master of the World, Invincible Iron Man, Volume 16 hardcover. Marvel Masterworks, The Invincible Iron Man, Volume Variant Edition, Volume 3, 37 DM only. Let's see. Immortal X-Men by Kieran Gillen, Volume 1, trade paperback. Moon Knight, Black, White, and Blood Treasury Edition, trade paperback. Ms. Marvel, Fist of Justice, trade paperback. Amazing Spider-Man by Wells and Romita, New Sinister, trade paperback. Jane Foster and Mighty Thor, trade paperback. Almost done with all these. Punisher, Volume 1, The King of Killers, Book 1, trade paperback. Wolverine by Benjamin Percy, Volume 4, trade paperback. Eternal, trade paperback. Marauders by Steve Orlando, Volume 1, trade paperback. Wolverine Patch, trade paperback. X, trade paperback. Iron Man Epic Collection, The Return of Tony Stark, trade paperback. Iron Fist Epic Collection, The Fury of Iron Fist, trade paperback, new printing. Star Wars Legends Epic Collection, The Rebellion, Volume 5, trade paperback. See if anybody's coming back. No, hello, you fool, I love you. Wanna join the joyride? Join the joyride, yeah. At an hour 33, I believe. Yeah, we're already at the hour and a half mark here. Ah. See, Star Wars Legends Epic Collection, The Rebellion, Volume 5, trade paperback. X-Men Epic Collection, the Executioner Song trade paperback. Almost done, it would appear, as I'm looking at my cursor on the right there. Aranya, Knight of the Hunter, GN, I guess that's graphic novel, trade paperback. Mighty Marvel Masterworks, Namor the Submariner, Volume 1, The Quest Begins, um, graphic novel, trade paperback, Romero cover, the original cover, GM, and that's it. So there we go with all of that. Now, of course, I wanted to brief that a little bit more because we covered that quite a bit of nothing to talk about as well. That all in as well. Right, and so now we'll get on to the wrestling roundup here, as it were. Um, as WWE continues to prepare for SummerSlam a week from, I believe it's this Monday. I believe will be the 30, maybe the 31st, or SummerSlam weekend next weekend, the 29th, 30th, or 30th, 31st. Um, we've had some interesting. Edge will be making his return apparently this Monday, the 25th, Raw. There's talk that he might be coming back in an old gimmick. And then in an interview recently, Seth Rollins was asked if there was a chance that Shield would potentially be making their return as a fact. He claimed that um, there's talk that Shield will likely be voted into the Hall of Fame at some point. Um, even Seth Rollins had pointed out that them coming back as a faction is very, very likely. It's probably not going to happen because all three individuals, himself, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose, and John Moxley, have all become such big stars in their own right that they don't necessarily need each other. It's like, I mean, imagine that. Try, you know, these guys are all super big stars now, and will it actually work to bring them back? Like now, granted, I think he and maybe many people, including myself, can see the possibility that 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 maybe around the time they are being, by the time they get to the point where they're about to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, if they are still active and maybe not like quite as broken down, there's a chance that like towards the end of their career they could make one last run as a faction, but chances are probably that's probably not going to be the case, or if it is, it's going to be still a few years before that all happens. They're still by wrestling, still I think relatively. They might just be getting the authority to that. So that's as much as WWE news right now. Let's see. AEW, like, I do need to talk a little bit about AEW, about some stuff that's happening on last night's Dynamite. Um, Chris Jericho did defeat Eddie Kingston, and there were a few surprises that came out of that matchup. Um, Anna Jay, who was formerly with Dark Order, turned heel. She came down at first, made it seem like she was going to defend Rookie Dog against State Country, and then beat her down, and um, then she and Kay reunited, and which saw Tay get the key to the shark cage, as the other members of the Jericho Appreciation Society were in a shark cage over, being lifted up overhead. Um, Anna Jay proceeded to bring the cage down with the controller, and then Tay Conti would release the guys in the cage. This would also bring out um, the Blackpool. Initially, after the initial run-ins by most of the members of the Jericho Appreciation Society, the Blackpool Club members came down to help out there with John Moxley, Wheeler Yuta, and Claudio Castagnelli coming down to help out Eddie Kingston, Steve off. And then after the members who were there were dealt with, later on, Sammy Guevara, who was believed to be still injured and not due back yet, made a surprise return. And helped Chris Jericho get the win on Eddie Kingston. So even though they did say that this was supposed to end the feud between Kingston and Jericho, um, they did leave the room door open for this feud to continue. Now, mind you, at least based on what I've seen here, I've seen this possibly leading into the possibility of maybe leading into a feud. Now, this is just my own observation, situation. It seems like it may be leading into a feud between the Jericho Appreciation Society and um, and the Blackpool Combat. Now we do know that Wheeler Yuta will be defending the Ring of Honor Pure Championship um, this Saturday at Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view. Will be defending it. Wheeler Yuta will be defending it against the Jericho Appreciation Society's Daniel Garcia. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a few moments here. Let's see. With of course now there was some talk that maybe they might have Anna Jay and Tay Conti teaming up again. There's also the possibility, from what I've seen, with Sammy Guevara's return and the fact that Sammy Guevara and Tay Conti are currently, I think, the AAA mixed tag team champions. They might move Eddie Kingston into a feud with Sammy Guevara, as the two of them have had some heat recently. First off, Kingston was the one who threw Guevara off the cage back a month ago at the Double or Nothing event. And with the fact they've been going after Ruby Soho, you could have a possible mixed tag feud there between Kingston, Soho, and Guevara and Conti. they're still keeping the idea of Claudio Castagnoli and Jake Hager as their closely tied to one another. Who then went after each other. That feud may continue. Now, Castagnoli has a match against Jonathan Gresham decided just before the time. I'll get more into that in a few moments. Um, Gresham defending the Ring of Honor World Championship against Castagnoli after his recent heel turn. Also, let me see what else we said here. Um, oh yeah. So with that, yeah, and then of course you can have, as right now, John Moxley is the current interim world heavyweight as we all wait on CM Punk's return from injury. You know, um, and people looking forward to the unification match between Moxley and Punk over the over the AEW World Title. In the interim, you could start a feud between Jericho and Moxley over the title, reminiscent of when Moxley first entered the company and went after the title in the first place. So, with Kingston and Soho maybe entering a few, maybe they become loose associates of the Blackpool combat. Now, with the fact that the title currently in both, well, I'll talk a little bit more about Ring of Honor in a few moments. So, in my preview of the Death Before Dishonor and what my thoughts are, what might happen. But so right now you have a face to heel ratio in terms of titles in Ring of Honor of 4-1, and you have the ratio in AEW 62, meaning that you have in Ring of Honor of the 5 titles, you have 4 faces holding the titles and 1 heel holding the title, and in AEW you have 6 faces holding titles versus 2 heels holding titles. So, and I can see them wanting, there's always that possibility of wanting to balance some of that out. One of the things in that is that they had been talking about Anna Jay's heel turn for the last few weeks, as many commentators believe that her run as basically her run as a face with Dark Order, with the faction Dark Order, had run its course. Basically, she done everything, or got everything she could get out of that run, and they felt that turning her heel would give her a fresh perspective. And now, with her being a member of the Jericho Appreciation Society, you have a heel there, a heel who's been being pushed. Anna Jay as a wrestler has been being pushed very hard. She's got a very good record this year. She's had shots at like Jade Cargill for the TNT Championship. Maybe they might engage her in a feud with Thunder Rosa. Maybe even try to put the title on her for a while. Anyways, I gotta make some lighting adjustments, so I'll be right back. Go ahead and put some music on for you guys. Alrighty, and so yeah, there's some talk recently about turning Anna Jay heel. Looks like they decided to go through with it. Now you just have to figure out, well, who would who would you know who then would you get to go to go into a rivalry with Matt Menard and Angelo Parker in their tag team. So stay tuned to that. And there do seem to be a lot of trios or six-man tag teams forming right now. Now, of course, some of the talk is also that now CM Punk, that earliest he might be back, might be at All In September. About Kenny Omega possibly being back by then. And with a lot of these, you have a lot of these factions. We already talked about, of course, Blackpool Combat Club, and Jericho Appreciation Society. You also have the Best Friends faction. And earlier in the night, of course, John Moxley and Wheeler Yuta defeated Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor, Best Friends, with Orange Cassidy. Of course, Wheeler Yuta was a former member of that faction until he was recruited in the Blackpool Combat Club. Kind of in almost a reverse of what happened with Jay. He went from being a heel to a face now. But, let's see what else. You have Dark Order. You have Death Triangle. You have Death Triangle with Pac. Being the All Atlantic champion. No Wardlow this week. You also had a situation where Jungle Boy made his return, and Luchasaurus decided to team with him over Christian Cage. After Christian Cage and him destroyed the Varsity Blondes in their tag match. So yeah, the reason I bring up all the faction wars and the talk of six-man tag, because there's also been some mutterings about the possibility that that AEW may be considering establishing a six-man tag or trios title in the mix, and you potentially have a lot of factions, a lot of teams that could be involved in that. And then, of course, one of the other feuds that's been kind of starting up more recently, House of Black with Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews going after Sting, going after Darby Allin and Sting. And Miro came out last night, but left it on the table mysteriously of, okay, is he going to team with Sting, and is he going to join the House of Black, or could he and Darby Allin join the House of Black, or could he join Darby Allin and Sting and go up against them, with all this talk of trios. Anyways, it's getting even dimmer now, so I should probably go ahead and turn on my room light. And go ahead, and I gotta step away from the camera for a moment. I'll be right back. right, I'm back. All right, so continuing on with what we're talking about. So yes, AEW is looking to possibly establish a six man tag trio title, and that will that of course could be an interesting twist there. Anyways, so now we want to move on to Ring of Honor. So this Saturday is just before Dishonor. You got 5 championship matchups going on there. I told you earlier the face to heel ratio there is 4-1. You have 4 faces holding titles, those being Wheeler Yuta, your championship, Samoa Joe with the world television title, Mercedes Martinez um, as the women's champion, FTR as the tag team champions, and then Jonathan Gresham um, with the world champion. Now, personally, based on my feeling is, yeah, they may want to even that out a little bit more. So at least one of the titles will most likely change hands at the event. The title, I believe, will most likely change hands at Death Before Dishonor. Will be most likely the women's championship. Um, I think Serena Deeb. They've been pushing Serena Deeb a lot lately, pushing her up more and more. And now granted, it could be a couple other titles could change into. The women's title is the most likely to change hands. The title least likely to change hands, or the 2 titles least likely to change hands are the tag titles and the pure championship. Okay, and I'll go through that here. So first off, and I believe overall Wheeler Yuta will most likely retain the pure championship. Um, only a lot of it due to the fact that if you understand the nature of the pure championship harkens back to the tradition of professional wrestling. Okay, the rules are a little bit different. Um, it's a wrestler's title, basically. Um, of course, you have to follow the code of honor in Ring of Honor, which, among other things, of course, you behave gentlemanly, you shake hands before and after the match. Um, so, for a pure championship, among certain things, first off, like for example, in the rules in a pure match, um, closed fists are forbidden. Okay, you get caught using closed. The first time you get caught using a closed fist, you get a warning. Second time, you're disqualified. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You know, you get 3 rope breaks. Meaning, of course, there are instead of your normal wrestling match where you get unlimited, where if you can reach the rope, they have to break the hold. You get 3 of those. You use those up, and you try to get a rope break. After the third one, they can hold. They can hold the. They can hold the. They can hold the hold on you for as long as it takes for you to submit or for you to escape. The idea is in a pure wrestling match, they want you to wrestle your way out of it, not I want you to wrestle your way out of it, not find an easy way out like getting to the ropes, or which leads to one of the other rules instead of a 10 count, you get a 20 count outside the ring. Because again, they don't want disqualifications, they don't want count outs. They will if they have to. Like, for example, you can't touch the ref. You sit there and you strike the ref, that'll get you disqualified. And maybe even more in a pure match. So with that being said, Daniel Garcia representing the Jericho Appreciation Society, as they like to call themselves, sports entertainers. That's kind of a slap in the face of traditional pro wrestling. Okay. So now, granted, some of the stuff I've seen from Tony Khan and the way he books stuff, I get, why I see the likelihood, him slapping the face of traditional pro wrestling. Seen a lot of it in his company. This would not be one of those things I think would go over well. I don't think it could go over well because, again, the nature of the title. Putting the title on Daniel or anybody who goes out of their way to call themselves a sports entertainer would be an affront to a pro wrestling. Now, granted, that could work if you're working a story angle, having them feud over the title, whatever, but you can still keep the title on Yuta, still have them feud over it, that, maybe with at some point Daniel Garcia having to acknowledge that he is a pro wrestler, not a sports entertainer, in order to get hold of the title. But I see Yuta holding on to the title for that reason. I don't see them unless they're really trying to drive, like maybe unless they're going to use it as one of the plot devices to sit there and drive the Blackpool Combat Club Jericho Appreciation Society feud. That's the only way I see that working. I see him getting the title. I believe Samoa Joe will most likely retain the Ring of Honor World Television title. He's too big and bad. I mean, Jay Lethal. I mean, it's most likely. I mean, there's always a chance Jay Lethal could win it, and he'll have Andre Dutt and something thing in his corner. But this is more of a traditional wrestling match. So, or more of a modern day traditional wrestling match. So you could have interference from them, but I think overall Joe will most likely retain the television title. Already talked about the women's title a little bit earlier. I believe Serena Deeb, of all the titles, the one most likely to change hands will be the women's. Because I said they've been pushing Deeb for a while now, coming off of a major feud with Hikaru Shida a couple months back, and then continuing her dominance. I think they may put the Ring of Honor title on her. As partly to kind of even out the titles a bit among the faces and heels. FTR will, I believe, will most likely. They will most likely retain the tag titles. Okay, the Briscoes will push them to the limit. It will go 3 matches, but I believe FTR will retain the title. The reason being is because if the Briscoes were to win the titles back, they would have to be featured on AEW more because AEW and Ring of Honor have, of course, that kind of working agreement going. But there are higher ups at TNT and TBS that do not want the Briscoes. They do not want the Briscoes, primarily over comments they made about gay marriage a few years ago. Basically, as everybody knows, TNT, TBS, they've always been left-leaning. They're even more left-leaning now, and the Briscoes just don't fit in with their company persona. I mean, I remember reading the article a while back that founding in the comments talked about how they said that AEW was not going to sign the Briscoes. If the Briscoes were to win the Ring of Honor tag team championship, they would have to AEW would have to sign them, and that's just not going to happen. I think some of the higher ups at TBS and TNT don't want the Briscoes there. And then I believe Jonathan Gresham will most likely hold on to the Ring of Honor Ring of Honor World Championship. It's possible Jake Hager may come in to interfere and keep Claudio from getting the title to kind of stir that pot a little bit more. It's also possible that Claudio may win the title and then move right into it. After Gresham gets his contractual rematch, then Claudio could move into a feud with Jake Hager over. But I don't believe Hager's there yet to be given a major title. I think they're still working him up for that. Hey, Toys. Night, Mike. Well, thank you for at least dropping in to say hi for a moment. And thank you for the like and the share. Just going over wrestling roundup here. With some of the stuff currently going on, talking about this weekend's Ring of Honor pay-per-view, Death Before Dishonor, and my take on what's liable to happen. So, at the very least, I believe one title will change hands, the women's title. You could theoretically have probably up to 3 titles changing hands, but I see it more likely just being the one, just to balance things out a little bit more, go down like a 4-1 to more like a 3-2 face to heel ratio on terms of the that's just my thoughts on it. So and then we have some NWA stuff to talk about. So last week's Power show. Now, right now, of course, Billy Corgan is preparing the NWA for the anniversary show coming up next month. That will be held at the Chase Park Plaza Hotel, which was, of course, the traditional home for NWA St. Louis. Many years, wrestling at the Chase is one of the major wrestling programs, locally produced wrestling programs. And now, they're prepping for Trevor Murdoch. Now, last week, of course, on this week's edition, I haven't, they'll be showing Power tomorrow, so I'll probably try to watch it at some point. But last week, they set up the the 4-way match that'll be happening this week with Mike Knox, a member of the Cardona family, got to buy into that 4-way match as part of the deal that was struck with the Cardona family for Matt Cardona to relinquish the NWA World Title after he was injured, in which all members of the Cardona family would get a title shot at a title of their choice at some point. VSK has already cashes in challenging Homicide for the light heavyweight title a couple weeks ago, I believe, and then last week. Now Mike Knox has already given a buy into the 4-way for this week, but the other matches that happened, you had Tom Latimer taking on Chris Adonis and defeating him to get into. You had Brian Myers taking on the Pope, Elijah Burke, in which Brian Myers won that match. And then in the main event, you saw Nick Aldis taking on Tim Storm. Now, prior to this situation, prior to this little mini tournament here, there had been a stipulation from a previous match that Storm and Aldis had that after the last time they faced each other for the NWA World Title, um, Tim Storm could no longer challenge for the NWA World Championship. He had been somewhat semi-retired. And, any of you who watch NWA programming, I have, Tim Storm some more commentating. Now, dude's like 56 years old and still looks like he's in great shape. You know, um, now Nick Aldis won the match, but it was under some controversial. Um, there was some controversy to it, and because of that, of course, looks like there's a possibility, maybe because of his frustrations at not being able to get the NWA World Title back. We might be seeing a kind of a slow, slow go toward the heel turn for Nick Aldis. Because what ended up happening was Nick Aldis just kept frustrating Tim Storm. Wouldn't stay down. Tim Storm was getting frustrated. At one point, the ref got knocked out of the ring. And then it's one of those things like the moment it's, I've seen this type of stuff happen before at times. The moment the ref pops his head up and sees what's going on, Tim Storm is kicking Nick Aldis in the nether region, getting himself disqualified. And then you pan to a shot afterwards, even though, Nick Aldis is still in the fetal position, as it were, he's smiling. Like you knew he just got, so it could be signs that he might be. But this sets up the four-way match this week. The winner of that four-way will move on to take on Trevor Murdoch at the anniversary show, the 74th anniversary show next month at Chase Park. So the tournament here is, of course, called the Race to the Chase. And you have a little bit more of a balance there, 4-3, and NWA does typically have their champions hold the titles for quite a bit longer. So, all right, so we've gone over 2 hours here, so a lot of content here for you guys. Let's see now. So with that, I think it's a good time to start wrapping things up a bit here. Let me just check some stuff real quick. Checking some stuff real quick here. Why? All right. Well, today is Thursday, July the 21st, 2022. So why don't we start to wrap things up by taking a look back at this day in each history. History! And our first stop, we're going to head back to 1992. As on this date in 1992, the OVA series Iron Virgin June from Triangle Staff was released on this date in 1992. So 30 years ago today, the OVA, Triangle Staff's OVA Iron Virgin June was released on this date in 1992, 30 years ago today. So with that, moving on to the next piece of niche history, as it were. Move ahead to 1997. On this date, 25 years ago today, WWE would hold Monday Night Raw from the Metro Center in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Let's see. The main event saw the faction, the Hart Foundation of Bret Hart, Owen Hart, and British Bulldog defeat Dude Love, Steve Austin, and The Undertaker in a six-man tag team match. That was the main event for the night. The Godwins won a three-way tag match over the Headbangers and the New Blackjack. Later, would defeat Ken Shamrock by count out at the beginning of the night on Christopher. So, in a dark match after the show, The Undertaker defeated Vader in a casket match to retain the WWF title. So, there you have that from 1997. Now moving on to the next piece of niche history. As we move 10 years ahead of that, we move up to 2007. As on this date in 2007, from 20th Century Fox, the Simpsons movie would premiere in theaters, would premiere in Springfield on this date in 2007. So 20 years ago today in Springfield, the Simpsons movie would premiere on this date, 20th Century Fox. So there we go with that one. On this date, 2007, 15 years ago today, the Simpsons movie would premiere. And finally, on this date in 2010, this date in 2010, the fifth and final issue of Fade to Black of Image Comics would go on sale. It would sell for $3.50 and would have 32 pages in it. So on this date in 2010, which was 12 years ago today, the fifth and final issue of Fade to Black from Image Comics would go on sale on this date. So that's all I have for you guys tonight. I thank you all for being here. I thank you guys for the likes and shares. Don't forget, tomorrow night, we will be continuing our look at comics that went on sale in March of 1939, as we will continue, of course, our historical comics retrospect. So tomorrow night, I originally announced that Shadowhawk from Shadowhawk Talks would be my co-host. As I mentioned last night, he had decided, he realized he was unable to make it. He had to cancel. So tomorrow night, Rick Piper from Cross Comics will be joining me. We'll be going over comics that went on sale from in March of 1939 from David McKay Publications and Fox Feature Syndicate. We'll be looking at some interesting stuff. So I hope to see you all back here tomorrow. Bye.